Welcome back to the deep dive. We have been looking through this really fascinating stack of material you sent us. We've got articles, fan lore, narrative blueprints.
All of it pointing to one thing.
Yeah, exactly. What everyone seems to be calling the definitive bridge theory for the final season of Stranger Things.
That's right. And what we're digging into today isn't just, idle speculation. This is a fully synthesized narrative. It feels like it's trying to solve almost every big question we have left about the show's mythology.
It really does. It's wrapping up the lore, the causality, and this is the big one, the entire destiny of Will Byers.
All in one single devastating final act.
So our mission today is to walk through this theory step by step. We need to get a handle on Vecna's final plan because according to these sources, it is so much more complicated than just another monster invasion.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about a catastrophic temporal paradox, an infinite loop.
And the absolute core of this theory, the linchpin, is that this entire paradox of Vecna's whole endgame.
It all depends on Will Byers.
Yeah.
100%. It pushes Will into this impossible position where he has to make the ultimate sacrifice, not just for Hawkins.
But for the entire right side up world itself, for reality.
For reality as we know it.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, if Vecna's goal isn't just conquest, what is it? What is his true endgame here, according to the theory?
The theory makes it pretty clear that Vecna has, he's evolved, he's realized his old methods like leaking through the gates 11 open.
It's slow, it's inefficient.
Exactly, it's temporary. He doesn't want to invade Earth anymore, he wants to replace it.
Replace it.
The goal is to physically overwrite our reality. He wants to complete a closed time circuit that basically terraforms our dimension into his. The sources call it Dimension X.
So we're not talking about a few more portals opening up over Hawkins. This is total substitution of one reality for another. How do you even do that? It sounds like you'd need some kind of cosmic cheat code.
You do.
Okay.
And that code is the infinite loop. The mechanics of it are, well, they're shockingly specific. Yeah. Vecna, the completed vessel, the one we know now, has to travel back in time. All the way back to 1951.
And why 1951?
To meet Henry Creel, his younger self. The empty vessel who hasn't been touched by the shadow yet before he's 001.
So he's going back to light the spark for his own creation. This is the paradox.
This is it. And the sources pinpoint the exact moment. The loop closes when future Vecna makes physical contact touches past Henry Creel at the very same instant that Henry encounters the shadow.
The mind flare particles in the Nevada cave.
In the cave. That single moment of contact is what completes the circuit between his future self and his past potential.
So it's less about Vecna giving Henry power and more about just closing a circuit.
Precisely. It creates an Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. The energy from that closed loop is so massive that it just tears the dimensional boundaries apart.
And that's how he does it.
That's how Dimension X physically drags itself on top of Earth, supplanting our reality. That's how Vecna finally achieves what he's always wanted, at long last.
That is chilling. The idea that this cosmic destruction hinges on one handshake in 1951. Okay, so we have the goal. How does he get there? The theory dives into the lead-up, Episode 5, Shock Jock.
Right, and this is where it gets really grounded in some classic sci-fi lore. Dr. K, the scientist who's been tracking all this.
The military scientist, yeah.
She makes this incredible discovery. Vecna's giant flesh wall in the Upside Down is emitting a very specific frequency, and that frequency is identical to one from the 1943 Project Rainbow event.
Project Rainbow, for anyone who hasn't gone down that rabbit hole, that's the Philadelphia experiment.
The infamous one. The alleged military test to make a ship invisible that supposedly, warped it through time or into another dimension.
So by linking the flesh wall to that event, the theory is saying the wall isn't just flesh, it's a time machine.
An organic time machine. Vecna has literally built himself a temporal engine.
And at the same time, the kids in Hawkins, they know something is up. They need to figure out his plan.
So Dustin and Mike get this idea to use the massive WSQK radio tower, the shock jock, to amplify 11's psychic signal. They're trying to listen in on Vecna.
But they don't hear him.
No, they hear Max. Her consciousness. She's trapped in his mind, but she's become this unintentional spy. And she broadcasts the one piece of intel they need.
He's going back to the beginning, the cave.
And that sets the whole mission into motion.
And of course, Will Byers. He's always been the canary in the coal mine for this stuff. He starts physically tuning into this.
He starts having these awful, debilitating seizures. It's because he's part of the hive mind. He can feel the timeline itself starting to fold. He's pre-tuning to the wormhole.
So what does he see?
He sees these flashes, fragments of memories, traumatized sailors from the USS Eldridge in 1943, and then, crucially, a young Henry Creel in 1951.
That's a confirmation. They know where he's going.
They know the destination.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This moves us into Episode 6, Escape from Camazotz, and that title is so specific.
It's perfect, isn't it? From A Wrinkle in Time. Camazotz is that planet of absolute, terrifying conformity. Everyone moves in perfect lockstep.
It's the perfect metaphor for Vecna's world. No individuality, no free will.
Exactly. So this episode is their last-ditch effort to stop that from happening.
And the theory outlines this classic two-pronged mission. First, you've got the defenders. Steve, Nancy, Lucas. They're staying in Hawkins.
They're there to protect Max's comatose body, but also to find someone who's been abducted. Holly Wheeler.
Mike's little sister. Why Holly?
She's the backup plan, the insurance policy. Vecna's taken her to use as a battery, a substitute for his dead sister Alice. If the time loop fails, he'll use Holly's psychic energy to power a more conventional invasion.
So no matter what, the threat is imminent.
Right. And then you have the Voyagers, 11, Will, and Mike. They're going into the Upside Down. They're going to breach the flesh wall and stop the launch.
And as soon as they cross through it, they see it. The timeline is physically collapsing.
Yes. The energy from the engine is just scrambling reality. They see these shattered pieces of the Creel house, where it all began for Henry fused with the hull of the USS Eldridge, the first time-warped vessel.
History is literally crashing into itself.
And to get through all that, to even stand a chance against Vecna, 11 needs help.
Which is where Kali comes in. 008.
She has to come back. The theory is very clear. 11 can't overpower him. Not directly. Kali's role is critical because she doesn't fight with force, she fights with illusion.
She gets inside his head.
She projects this massive, reality-bending illusion of his deepest fear, his own humanity, the family he murdered. It paralyzes him, makes him relive that trauma, and that gives them just enough time.
Long enough for the portal to 1951 to open.
And it opens, and in that moment, Will makes this devastating choice. He jumps in. Alone.
He thinks he can stop it. He believes if he can just stop Henry Creel from ever touching the shadow, he can prevent everything.
Which brings us right to the heart of the theory, the heartbreaking twist in Episode 7, The Bridge. Will arrives. He's in the 1951 cave. The shadow particles are swirling.
When young Henry Creel walks in, Will tries to stop him.
But this is the Bootstrap Paradox. This is the central tragedy of the entire story.
His attempt to fix the past is what actually causes the future. How?
The theory's big revelation is that the shadow, the mind flayer particles, at this point in time, they're primitive, almost animalistic. They're blind. When Henry Creel, just a normal troubled kid, walks in, the shadow ignores him.
It ignores him. It ignores the boy who becomes 001.
Completely.
Yeah.
It doesn't sense anything special, but then it senses Will.
Oh, no.
It senses Will because Will is carrying the infection from the future. He's saturated with the Upside Down. The entity recognizes him.
He's a beacon.
He's the conductor. The shadow bypasses Henry completely and just slams into Will. It recognizes him as its host. And Will, in that moment, he inadvertently becomes the human conductor, the bridge.
So the energy flows through him.
Through Will and into Henry. He's the one who connects the entity to humanity.
He realizes it then, doesn't he? The horror of it.
Instantly. He understands the Mind Flayer wasn't hunting him randomly back in Season 1. It was hunting him because he's the original host. He is, and I'm quoting the source here, the DNA of the Upside Down.
By trying to be the hero, he became the architect of the entire nightmare.
He didn't just fail to stop the loop. He started it.
And the consequence of closing that loop is immediate, catastrophic. We're in the final episode, Episode 8, The Right Side Up.
The sky over Hawkins turns blood red. The Mega Rift isn't a gate anymore. It's a dimensional tear that's just consuming the world. The paradox is complete. The invasion is total.
11 has to go into her psychic void one last time to find Will.
And she finds him. He's anchored in 1951, trapped. He's literally dissolving into the very shadow particles he helped create.
And he says it, the line that sums it all up.
I am the door, El. As long as I exist, the door is open.
The choice is just agonizing. If they pull him out, the loop remains. Reality still ends.
To actually win, they have to erase the event, which means they have to erase the anchor. They have to erase Will.
He can't be saved. He has to be unmade. He begs her to do it, doesn't he? To scatter his consciousness so completely that he never exists to form that bond in 1951.
And she does it. The sources describe it as this wave of clean, white energy. She performs the erasure. Will dissolves in the 1951 timeline.
And that triggers the reset. So what happens?
In 1951,
The shadow ignores Henry Creel. He just leaves the cave, a normal, if troubled boy. He never becomes 001.
And in 1983,
Dr. Brenner never studies the subject with those powers, so 11 is never created. The gate is never opened.
the strange things never happened.
Never happened.
It's a total victory, but the cost is everything we've ever known. So the epilogue. We jump to November 1983. It's the right side up.
It is. Mike, Dustin, Lucas. They're in the basement playing D&D. They're safe. Hopper's a normal sheriff. Joyce is just a mom.
But the party is smaller. There's no Will Byers to go missing. And the final shot described in the theory is Mike Wheeler, standing by the swing set. And he feels this profound, aching phantom pain, a missing piece of his soul he cannot name.
So what does this all mean for the lore? What does the bridge theory ultimately do?
It connects everything about Will. He was never just the victim, he was the source code. The cleric becomes the martyr. His connection to Vecna, his ability to spy on him, it all makes this perfect, horrifying sense if he was the original link.
And it finally explains the biggest mystery of the Upside Down, why it's frozen in 1983.
Because that's the moment the bridge Will crossed over. It locked the dimension into a memory of his world. You eliminate the bridge.
You unmake the entire dimension.
Exactly. The show ends by restoring a safe, normal world, but at the highest price imaginable. The erasure of the boy who started it all.
And that leaves us with that final provocative question for you to think about. If the world is finally safe, if it's right side up, does the erasure of 11, the gate, and Will himself, does it justify the cost?
Could Mike's phantom pain, that ache for a friend he never knew he had, be the only thing left in that peaceful timeline? The only ghost of the strange things that once existed?
A ghost limb. That is a heavy, heavy thought to end on.